Welcome back to another edition of Double Take. I'm Dylan McCaffrey, joined as always by James Kwan. James, how are you feeling today?
Not too bad. Finally getting over the fact that Celtics are in the finals. Just on to that last stage of grief.
I'm glad to hear it. I'll let you know when I've gotten there. In this show, we compare the worst champions of the 2000s, find a way to fix Disney's live-action reboots, and we draft a campaign team that could win any presidential election.
But before all that, we got to talk about these MLB Wild Card games.
Baseball fans have always looked forward to October, always looked forward to the playoffs, but this year, things are looking a little different. Major League Baseball has implemented for this season a 3-game wild card play-in for all the teams that made the playoffs. In a game where tradition rules over everything, changes like this can be seen as either refreshing or blasphemous. James, where do you sit?
I definitely love it. I mean, I'm loving that we're getting more playoff baseball. I think that's just a great thing all in all. But also, with teams working for 162 games to kind of just like fight for that, chance to get into the playoffs, a chance to make some noise, I think it's so much more to be like, you get 3 games to play than just like 1 game, which can kind of just be a fluke sometimes.
I was a big fan of the wild card game when they made it a couple of years ago, that the 2 teams play the 1 playing game. Mm-hmm. Playoff baseball, elimination games are so fun to watch. And so the best of 3 series, just having all the games go every day, it was super entertaining. Like every team is like fighting for their life right away. Like every game is important. I just like a 3-game playoff series. I haven't really seen that much.
No, yeah, they took notes from college baseball, I think, and saw that like when either team wins that first game, all of a sudden in game 2, so much weight, so much on the line that you're getting this like playoff, this is hard intensity, literally just so much quicker than in a 5-game or 7-game series. So I'm really liking what I'm seeing so far. I think that for teams that maybe are the 1 or 2 seed, you kind of lose there because I don't know how much your advantage is, but I still think it's a great thing for baseball as a whole. I think if you're an ace, maybe you don't get to show out in that 1 wild card game when it's balls to the wall on the line. But as a fan, you cannot be any happier. This has just been a great time.
The 1 of the 2 seeds is the only thing that I'm hung up on. I'm gonna take an analysis from my good friend Christian Jones. There shouldn't be 16 teams. The 1 seed, the Dodgers, shouldn't have had to play the Brewers for a playing game. They were the best team in the league by far. Yeah. They shouldn't be subjected to that. I think that they should go down to 14 teams with the 1 seeds having a bye, or go even down to 12 teams with the 1 and 2 seeds having a bye. I just think that there has to be something for you to try and earn over the regular season. Like if you get the 1 seed, you don't have to play the playing games. But I think that in the same sense, the more teams that are eligible to make the playoffs will just make baseball better. If you're a baseball fan, your team's in 3rd place with your 90 games in, and it's a lot of games left, but you're starting to realize you're not going to win the division, you don't really have a chance. Like, you're hoping for the wild card spot, but if half the teams in the league are making the playoffs, then half of baseball fans are engaged throughout the whole season.
This is why the NBA playoffs are great, because if you're a Hornets fan, you're just like, can't wait for that 8th seed where it can give the LeBron Cavs a good sweep. But still, I joke, but it's still like you get a shot, and I think that's what keeps people engaged. I think the playoffs they're already kind of long. I think things with baseball are already kind of long. So maybe you have to compensate for making, some of these planned 7-game series, like a 5-game series. But other than that, no complaints.
Yeah, and I think that, I hate that it's the Astros that had to be the one to do this, but the Astros were a 6 seed that beat a 3 seed. The 6 seed wouldn't have even been to the playoffs another year. So I think that it's good for baseball that, you can have that upset. Like the 3 seed isn't guaranteed a spot. And I thought that it was cool to see a team sneak into the playoffs that way. At least have one upset. And beyond that, the 4 and the 5 matchup was like both sides of the league, where it was the Yankees and Indians and it was the Padres and the Cardinals. So a battle. Those are awesome playoff series between just very competitive teams. I just think that giving us this high entertainment playoff baseball right away, I was a huge fan.
Yeah, no, I think it's I'm getting NBA vibes. I think that's like when I was watching some of the wild card games yesterday, whether it be that back and forth Padres Cardinals game 2, game 2. It was I'm just getting this back and forth, this equal teams. It's like those 4 or 5 games in the NBA where you're like in the first round, what are we looking forward to? Looking forward to the 1-8 sweep? No, we're looking forward to these teams, and what creates intrigue. It's parity. It's the ability to say that anything can happen at any given moment. And I think that's what we're getting right now.
Yeah, the one thing I'll say is that it was a little weird to watch someone playing an elimination game in an empty stadium at noon on a Wednesday. So once there's fans back, I think that this will be like an awesome round of baseball. And I think that, I don't want to jinx anything, I really don't, but we're moving into the bubble soon for these playoffs, and we've gotten through this hectic season. We're almost at the finish line of being able to say that we did it. We played the season. These changes, I think they're working, and I'm glad to be along for the ride, even if the Red Sox aren't there.
No, all in all, it's just good to mix things up once in a while. I think that monotony can be painful, and in a similar vein, championships can feel very monotonous. Whether, dynasties are just everywhere, no matter what the sport is.
Yeah.
So when that one team gets there who isn't even supposed to be there and wins the whole entire thing, it's notable to say the least. So with that being said, it's time for a list.
So let's be clear before we start this segment. All of these teams, they won a championship. There's nothing we can take away from them. This isn't a diss segment. Mm-hmm. We're highlighting teams that overperformed. They were underdogs. They overachieved. They fought their way to a title game, and they pulled it out. They upset these teams. James, what teams come to mind when you think of the best underdog / the worst teams to win a championship the last 20 years?
Yeah, I'm going to start with football because I think we all agree that these Giants teams, man, like... Eli is a guy who, when he's there, he's great. When he's there, it's like that uncle that you don't get to see very much. But when he shows up, and it's a great thing. And this 2007 Giants team in particular, man, you're going to, not only are you, people complain about the NFC East right now. The NFC East has been bad for a while, and this year, the NFC East was not too different from this current NFC East. And when they come out of that division, that's the only way that they're even in this whole entire dance. They end up beating the undefeated Patriots, who inarguably top 3 football team of all time.
That's like what takes over the story almost. It's not how mediocre the Giants were. It's the fact that they were mediocre and they played probably the best football team ever.
Yeah, no, this was a team of destiny, and I think this is going to be a common theme with a lot of these, is that the magic of the moment is going to overcome how bad you are. Yeah. Because it doesn't really matter when it's just one game to win it all. So, whether it be the Tyree catch, whether it be certain things that had to happen in order for this moment to occur, it's like the stars aligned, and this very, very mediocre football team ended up pulling off the biggest upset on the biggest stage in sports, which is insane. I'm going to go flip sports, the Phillies here. This 2008 Phillies team. Now, people don't understand that they did have some names that people can, household names people can recognize, but in this year, the Mets, if the games ended in the 8th inning, the Mets would have been 12 games up on the Phillies, and the Phillies would not even made the playoffs. The fact that they were even here was just because of an ineptitude of someone else's bullpen. They had no business even making the playoffs. So when they go off on this run, round after round, surprising people, it was kind of a magical thing for Philly, and I'm not going to compare it to the Eagles Super Bowl because that was in its own thing, but damn, you had to have been surprised.
This was a team I rocked with a lot in MLB The Show because they had Ryan Howard and Chase Utley and Roy Halladay, and they went back next year. They played the Yankees in 2009 and lost. So they were a team that maybe you didn't expect, but they proved their worth eventually. It's the one team on this list that I want to give more credit to, but I see where you're coming from because the Mets. If the Mets weren't the Mets, the Phillies wouldn't have even had a shot at this.
Yeah, and lastly, I'm gonna go. I'm a swallow my own pride here. This 2005 Steelers team, man, I'm glad we won, and we sent Bill Cowher off in a great parade, but we should have won this game. We shouldn't have even been there. Big Ben was not good. He was a rookie, and quite frankly, it reminded you of Terry Bradshaw the way he was a complete dumbass.
Who was the Seahawks quarterback? Is Hasselbeck?
Hasselbeck.
That's a Super Bowl against Matt Hasselbeck. I feel like if we were traded to a Steelers Seahawks Super Bowl with those teams today, I think the world would be pretty disappointed. I guess it was a different place back then.
I'm just saying that there was, first of all, we were the worst team. We were the worst seed. In the entire playoffs of the year, we were the worst team, the worst seed, and for us to have come out of the AFC that year, I think it's almost like maybe you could say we won the Super Bowl when it came to the AFC, but winning a chip that year with Jerome Bettis on his last legs, rookie Big Ben, you got to say that's nothing short of a miracle.
What a weird year. It was a weird Super Bowl.
Weird Super Bowl, but hey, I would take Steelers Seahawks to this day. I think today's NFL, that'd be a fantastic game.
No, I hope that happens.
But last honorable mention, I'll say the 2019 Nats. They did not seem to have any kind of shot 50 games in the season last year.
They lost that season a couple times before they finally won it.
Yeah, and anything from, you want to call Scherzer getting smacked in the face by that semi-hilarious batting practice incident. Like, there are a lot of things that went wrong for them, but the magic of the baby shark, what are you going to do?
All right, so for my list, I want to swing over to the NBA for what I think is probably one of the most expected teams to be on here. This list, for me, is in honor of the Heat making the finals because I still just think that's a travesty to the sport that this team managed to scheme their way in. Another story.
No, you just mad the Celtics lost.
Fair enough, that's true. But I'm going to wind it back to 2011. Dirk Nowitzki on the Mavericks. That team made an unprecedented run. They beat the Blazers with Brandon Roy, beat the Lakers with Kobe, beat the Thunder with Russ, KD, and Harden, and then beat LeBron and Wade in the finals. And, they got Jason Terry, they got Sean Marion, Tyson Chandler, Jason Kidd. Like, they got these guys that, you look at, you respect. But none of them are the second best player on a championship team. None of them, today, would you consider that. Dirk Nowitzki, his whole career, was in the tier of Duncan and Garnett, but was never given that status, that respect, because he never got it done. He never won the ring. And this year, I don't know what happened. He had the flu one of those games, and it's prime Dirk. It's like, this is God mode Dirk. He just can't be guarded.
Yeah, no, it was funny just seeing LeBron and Wade try to say that Dirk was pulling a pandemic or something and saying he was under some fake illness. But I'm glad that showed the world that team basketball, playing the game the right way, can go so far in any era. Moving the ball around, playing the game the way it's supposed to be, that's the way you beat teams that are better than you. And you saw that with the Heat against the Celtics. There's a way to dismantle teams that are better than you just by newsflash, playing better basketball. That's refreshing to see.
That team didn't realize it, but they implemented kind of a new modern offense. When they played Dirk at the 5, which wasn't much, and they had Terry and Marion and all those guys out there, they were a very heavy 3-point team. That they racked up points that way, and this tall, lanky European dude beat LeBron James and Dwayne Wade in the championship. That's unprecedented.
No, that run was crazy. Them sweeping that Lakers team. That Lakers team is this year's Clippers team, where they kind of expected to just walk into the finals. Everyone expected Kobe, LeBron finally. I will say though, the biggest drawback, and I love this Mavs run, we didn't get Kobe, LeBron. That was tough. That was tough.
And then he ruined Kobe, LeBron. Dirk also ruined LeBron's Jordan resume.
Who would have known? This random German dude.
Him losing that series is by far the biggest knock to his career. But enough about LeBron. I want to bring it back to baseball. I'm going to save the worst one for last. So the second worst one for me is the 2003 Marlins. Much respect to them because the Yankees had just beaten the Red Sox in 7. They've got Derek Jeter. They're coming off of 5 straight with Jeter's run or 4 straight in the late 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s. And the Marlins with young Miguel Cabrera, AJ Burnett, Josh Beckett, they go out and they beat the Yankees at 91 and 71. They make the playoffs. The Marlins are not a historically very good team. They're actually a historically very bad team, and they managed to get all the way there and get it done.
This reminds me of the literal 1980s Olympics miracle team.
No, yeah,
it's a bunch of young guys who they just I'm not gonna say it's a scrap together team because a lot of great names here, but a bunch of young guys with something to prove. Going up against, again, you want to compare it to the Patriots, this Yankees team was good. Yeah. This is probably the best the Yankees could get.
When the Yankees and Red Sox in 03 were a lot like the Red Sox and Indians in 07, where it's whoever plays the Rockies is going to win. So whoever wins this game 7 is just going to beat the Marlins in 03. And the Marlins had something to say about that. Josh Beckett started a long run. Moving into the worst team, this is a no-brainer. Once I had finally done the research, the 2006 Cardinals, I didn't realize, were 83 and 78. 83 and 78. This is the 3rd worst record that's ever made the postseason in baseball, and they won the World Series. And we think back now, the Cardinals went back there in 07, they got Albert Pujols on that team. You think that was a good team, but they came in as the most underdog you can be. The World Series the year before and after, the teams that won had close to 100 games. They won 83 games.
Yeah, no, I mean. It sometimes only takes one championship to kind of turn everything around, but they were bad. They were bad. Let's not get it twisted. And while we're on the topic of things that are bad, let's talk about these Disney live-action reboots that just can't seem to stop whiffing. So they almost seem too far gone, but me and Dylan are going to try to take our best hack at how to fix them.
everyone has a favorite Disney movie from their childhood. You know, you go Little Mermaid or Beauty and the Beast, whatever it may be. Disney has been shelling out these reboots the last couple years, and it pretty much makes it a guarantee that whatever your favorite movie was that you hold dear to your heart at some point is going to be completely ruined for a cash grab. So James, in a perfect world, how could we fix these live-action remakes?
So it's tough, because I know Disney's like committed to this live-action BS.
Got a good dozen movies on the way in the next couple of years.
We gotta ditch this, man. Like, and some of them maybe make sense because you have these, you know, these human characters, and maybe if it's all like Hercules or something like that. What the hell does live action Lion King actually mean? Let's think about this. Let's put our thinking caps on as a society for 1 second, and let's like think about this. Like on paper, what does that even mean? You're not gonna get real animals to act this out. So it's an animated movie. This is an animated movie.
The movie is 100%
This is an
animated.
animated movie. So first of all, cut the bullshit, all right? Some of these movies are not, it just doesn't translate. And on top of that, I think a lot of these movies, people are saying if you just reanimate, you know, these same stories, like it'll just be a regurgitation, the same movie. Take some notes from Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. The way that they used animation to make a refreshing, cool movie in a you call superhero movies monotonous, or you call them like we're getting the same thing every single time. What a refreshing new take. And if you're Disney and you have billions of dollars, an absolute empire, you're basically Amazon, you have all those resources, I'm not going to give you any passes to not mix things up. I'm not.
I think this is what happened in the writer's room, hopefully. If you make like a Spider-Verse-esque, like a really well animated Lion King like adaptation, like it could have been really cool. It could have done a Cornerstone Club with the musical numbers, like it could have been great. But they were like, we can't just make another animated movie. Like, why will anyone care? We have to make it like they're real animals. And so they make it with these are real lions and real pigs and real whatever. And if you're a child watching that movie, like those animals can't emote. They can't like produce emotions on their face. So how are you even following the movie if you're just watching like a nature documentary with the Lion King soundtrack in the background? Like,
yeah.
And so I'll move into like a movie like Beauty and the Beast. That was like one of the first ones that came out. I didn't love the movie, but I think it was appropriate because Beauty and the Beast is such an old movie, and you bring in like, you know, Emma Watson does a great job, and watching the clocks and stuff dance around, like it could have been better, but it could have been worse. Like I didn't hate that. Yeah. But on the other side of the spectrum, a movie like Aladdin is a great movie, and to bring in not only like to try and make a live action genie out of Will Smith that was just like disturbing to watch. Like I don't know how kids didn't run out in fear. Like, and not only to do that, but to replace Robin Williams with Will Smith. Will Smith is great, but he's not Robin Williams. No one is Robin Williams. Close. And that was like so much of the charm of that movie. The parts of it that were like in like Arabian Nights, like they were doing the dances and they had that like the accurate costumes. I thought like that's why you make it live action. Mm-hmm. But to the animated parts with the genie and with the magic, I don't think it works. It didn't work when I watched the movie, and that's what I'm worried about for all the ones that are coming up. Like the Little Mermaid, like is the Little Mermaid all underwater gonna look like a fun movie if like she gets her? Like.
Well, like Little Mermaid, like Aladdin, I think an important thing is one, you got to keep the songs. I think if you really want to retell these stories and do them their justice, everyone knows the songs are just such an integral part of why these are enjoyable. And there's a way to do it in which like you keep it, and people just have to be talented. Like if you want to make a live action, you want to keep the songs, sure, but then you gotta cast the right people, and it starts from there. But it's the in between, the plot. I think we can tinker just a little bit. Come on, like the way that they redid the Grinch a couple of years ago, and they had the Grinch be more kind of like funny. He was like stress eating at one point. He was just like a human, and like that was fun. I thought it was great, and yeah, it wasn't exactly the Grinch script like bar for bar, line for line, but you know what? No one cared because it was still good.
I think that like Mulan and The Lion King are on opposite ends of the spectrum. I didn't see Mulan, but like they took out Mushu, they took out all the songs, they made it this very serious thing, and people are like, I loved Mulan and you made it worse, and so I hate you for it. The Lion King, like they just made the same movie again, so you're like, you think it's a lose-lose? It's a lose-lose because you're either messing with something people love or you're just regurgitating it, the exact same thing. Mm-hmm. And there's a ton of movies that are coming out in the next couple years. Like Cruella, there's the 101 Dalmatians. Like, do we need a 101 Dalmatians villain origin story?
It would be really funny if it was like the Joker movie, but Cruella the villain, she's like slowly going insane. She's like, I used to think dogs were cute.
Just a dark, depressing, like, I'm gonna abuse puppies movie.
It's going crazy.
But to give them some credit, like they're gonna remake Peter Pan. There have been some live action Peter Pans, but the animated one that like I loved as a child is not really okay to watch or celebrate nowadays with the stuff that is in that movie with Native Americans. So I'm like all on board. I think a live action Peter Pan totally can work. You can change up the story, you make some songs. I think a movie like that is perfect. A movie like Aladdin, a movie like 101 Dalmatians, they're gonna have live action Dalmatians talking to each other. I just don't see why it's necessary, why you would want it. I used to think for a long time that I heard a couple years ago that Walt Disney had in his will, like his dying wish, was that his creations would be remade for each generation in like the new updated technology. So I was like on board for these in spirit. Found out today.
It's fake news.
It's fake news. It was never true.
He did not want that. That was not. He didn't go to the cryogenic like chamber like Han Solo. Like Leia was like, "Do you want me to do the movies?" And he was like, "No,
no." That's the exact thing. It's not only is it not true, it's the opposite of true. When he made the Three Little Pigs in the 1930s, he made a ton of money. So they were like, "Keep giving us pigs. Give us more pigs." And he was like, "No, we're not going to just make the same thing." To quote, "You can't top pigs with pigs. You can't top pigs with pigs. You can't top lions with lions. You can't top genies with genies, Dalmatians with Dalmatians." None of the remakes are going to top the old ones. And so the only validation to make it is if you really think that it deserves a new story and you have a good plan for it. You're not just going to... They feel like cash grabs. It shouldn't feel like a cash grab when I walk into the stupid theater.
Yeah, no, and at the end of the day, the hard truth is that we're not going to be able to make any of these changes. So we're probably just accept that they're going to be horrible.
Yeah.
Speaking of things that we have to accept are horrible, the election is coming up very, very soon. So in the spirit of the times, we have a very special presidential election candidacy edition of Out of a Hat.
President of the United States is one of the most powerful people on the planet. What better way to choose who the president should be than picking random categories out of a hat? That's what we're going with, and for this segment we will be selecting a president, a vice president, a campaign manager, and of course, a wild card. James, I'll let you go first. Picking your president here.
All right,
big
president.
Big pick.
Big, this is a big draw. This is a big
This is your
draw.
presidential candidate. We're going to be running against each other, so choose wisely.
All right. Anyone from the Hunger Games or Twilight?
Talk.
No. This is
President Snow, just...
Yeah.
A lot of allegories.
Yeah, where do I want to go? The guy with the
time.
experience, the guy, young or old, the question of today. Or Twilight.
Or Twilight. One of those shiny vampires, werewolves.
Right?
Robert Pattinson, that's correct. Taylor Lautner, Bella, Kristen Stewart.
You know what? I'm going to go off the rules of today. The actual president could just be a figurehead. Doesn't... we're seeing with like Trump, just like he's an archetype of a person. I'm going Robert Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson as Edward.
As Edward, because he's the looks. And I think that he's gonna galvanize the young people to vote, which I think is an important thing, and he's gonna be able to do it. The only way to get young people to vote is to have Robert Pattinson go on screen as Edward, and he's going to say, "Get out there to the booths. I don't care if it's raining. I don't care if it's cold. You gotta go vote." I think he's going to make it happen. And also, I'm feeling pretty good about my vice president can kind of be like the yin to his yang, maybe get some brains in there. We're going to need someone smarter at the vice presidency. But he's the perfect guy to just be like the figurehead, Just like a good-looking guy, shell him out there. He's good at reading lines.
He's going to stand out there and he's going to shine and sparkle in the sun. He is a vampire. He's a blood-sucking monster.
Which means he doesn't age.
What candidate
Which means he doesn't age.
It's true. He won't age.
But more progressive a person than someone who's always with the times.
He does look like he may look like he's 20, but he is actually like 100 or something. So he's got the wisdom.
The experience. He's seen it all. I like my pick.
Straight out of high school to the presidential campaign.
Yeah.
All right, my president. Any comedian. A lot to work with. Okay. Comedian in any sense, not like a stand-up, not like
just a comedian, a funny guy.
Okay. I'm going to go with a guy who I've admired my entire life. It's a guy sitting right on this desk, a man named Seth Meyers.
You didn't pick Dave Chappelle?
No, Dave Chappelle, it didn't cross my mind. Fine. This guy, Seth Meyers, right here, he's my dude. SNL, all those years, and I've watched his Closer Look segment on his late night show a lot. He has a lot of opinions. He's a smart guy.
Yeah.
politically well-versed.
Yeah.
Exactly. He's a charismatic. He's a great speaker. I think he's going to crush it in these debates against Edward Cullen. I'm feeling great. Seth Meyers.
He's got a presidential look. I will
Seth
say.
for president. Can we get behind this? Can we tweet this,
can we
people?
make this happen? I think he's got a presidential look. I think he's got that face that you trust.
He's a white guy?
Yeah, he's got that middle-aged white guy look. Yeah,
something about these two
Something
guys
about it makes him seem like every other president we've had except for a couple. No, like he literally looks like, you know, your quintessential like suit and tie guy. I'm not mad about that for you. All right, vice president. I think this is the most underrated pick of this entire thing. This is gonna be the guy in my Robert Pattinson's ear that is the wisdom. He's gonna tell him what really is good for the world. And we're picking from any recurring commercial actor. You can't. No, we did this last time.
I wanted to get back at you.
We did this last time.
All right, fine. Go again.
We did this last time.
I wanted to get back at you for putting me in such a rough spot. I thought I could trap you there, but
you know what?
If you want to pass on it,
you know what? You know what you didn't. You know where you messed up. You didn't say not to pick the AT&T girl, and I'm picking the AT&T girl. She's my vice president. She is my vice president because I'm gonna have the best looking president, vice president of all time. And the way that she explains these plans, these AT&T plans, and there's this commercial. I'm so excited to tell people about this new AT&T 5G plan. Man, she's excited to inform people about the cold hard facts of what she wants to convey. She's a good speaker. She knows how to read off a prompter. She knows, like, that's half of being of a politician, right? And she's a goodwill person that I think have the people in mind. She is the people's vice president. Another person's gonna get the young people like you to vote. And I know for a fact that if the AT&T girls was a vice president, and Robert Pattinson was the president, that every young male and female is going to vote. And that is the name of the game.
AT&T girl and Edward Cullen, you're gonna need a hell of a campaign manager if these are you two. These are the brains of your organization.
I'm liking my youth. I'm liking, we have a very progressive duo right here that I think has seen a lot, doing a lot of things. Also, telecom is gonna be in a great place now that I have a great person who cares about.
I think that all the young men voters are going to be very happy about the AT&T girl. All the young women voters are going to be very happy about Edward Cullen. I think that you've won the hearts of a generation.
Listen, if every young liberal voted, if this shows out, if every young liberal voted, I'm just saying. All right, go on.
My vice president to Mr. Seth Meyers is any That 70s Show character. This is interesting.
I gave you a good one. This is funny.
No, yeah, because I could pick like Cheech or Chong or whichever it was, but
don't pick Red Foreman.
Red Foreman. I can't go with Eric, too much of a nerd. Can't go with Kelso, too dumb.
Really?
I'm gonna
go. You can't do Fez. I don't think he was born in this country.
Fez, not an American citizen, unfortunately. I'm gonna go with a man that's gonna set this country on the right track. The revolution is now. Hyde. Stephen Hyde for vice president.
Didn't he get canceled? No, your pick is your pick. Tell me why you think Hyde's gonna run this country.
Now that I think about it, he did get canceled. But this is the card says any That 70s Show character.
This is That 70s Show.
Not Danny Masterson. It's Stephen Hyde.
Okay,
Stephen Hyde doesn't trust the government. Big fan of marijuana. Big fan of the anti-establishment. He's gonna take it down from the inside, like he always said he would. Him and Seth Meyers. Seth Meyers pushing the country in the right direction. Stephen Hyde tearing down all the right things, sticking it to the man.
I will say I like this pick as the Ron Swanson of like your like the infiltrator. He's gonna take it down, like you said, from the inside. Hey, you know what? If you got a good mix here. You got the suit and tie Seth Meyers. Very much good to get the vote of the suburban.
He's politically minded. When Gerald Ford came to town, he was like, we got to moon this guy. We got to get out there and
That's
and
true.
streak.
He is an activist. Let's be honest. How much is That 70s Show Hyde different from like Bernie Sanders?
He might be a felon. He might be a convicted. He did get arrested for drug charges in the show. So gray area for if he is eligible, but he's on the ballot.
Listen, I think he's the edge. He might be the edge you need. You need an edgy guy. He'll be the one taking on the debates. All right, so my campaign manager. For me, this is huge because I got two people with no political background at all, no political know-how. Great people you want to have a beer with, which in this country goes a long way, unfortunately. But we need something to put it all together. Any character from an animated Disney film. I don't want to take too much time here.
Hot topic.
But I think that there's a lot of
animated films. There's all of Pixar and all of the old animated ones.
I mean, dude, do we have 30 minutes? Because I don't want to make a quick pick here and forget about someone. There's so much to choose from. But you know what? I'm going animated. I'm going Pixar.
It needs to be a mastermind, you know.
Needs to be a mastermind. And that mastermind is Frozone.
Ooh.
I'm going with Frozone. Because Frozone he's always been the logic. He's always been the guy who holds Mr. Incredible down, you know, puts him off his pedestal, keeps him in a logical mindset. This is the guy I need. This is the adult. This is the guy who goes to Robert Pattinson, goes to AT&T girl, and this makes it all make sense. Hey guys, let's come up with a real plan. Let's bring up real facts and bring up real issues. He is that guy. Also, I think minority representation, we got it all. We got it all. And I think that's an important thing. It's a great thing. This team is coming together in so many different ways.
I like him as the mastermind for you because I think he definitely has more of a brains than I've seen Edward Cullen have. I don't know AT&T girl very well, but Frozone, I worry too much that his wife, Honey, if she's gonna be pulling him away from the campaign trail. Honey, where is my regular suit?
Yeah. Where's my suit? Where are any of my suits?
I have to go to work sometimes.
It's gonna be great. He's a real adult with real adult problems. He's been through it all.
He's got so many great one-liners in that movie. He could write a killer speech.
He's also saved the world.
Yeah,
he has literally saved the world. What better guy to run to
have his endorsement?
Yeah, to the guy who saved the world.
All right,
quite literally.
I've got my Meyers Hyde ticket, and running my campaign for those two guys is going to be any new girl character. That's interesting.
Yeah, that's the one I thought you would like. That's
Hell
the one
yeah,
I thought you would like.
I'm a New Girl fan. In the middle of a rewatch, great show. I mean, in the apartment you have Jess, Nick, Schmidt, and Winston, and Coach, and Cece on the side. Winston would have been good for the wild card because Winston is like the archetype of a wild card.
He's not gonna manage shit though.
Part of me wants to go Nick Miller just to go fully like anti-establishment. But for my campaign manager, I'm gonna go with Schmidt. Schmidt is the most high maintenance, tinker he's
gonna make your candidates are gonna look good.
He's like maybe the biggest tryhard of all time. I do have like 3 straight white men running this campaign so far, which is less than ideal. But I think that Schmidt.
I could have seen that.
Schmidt's a cheeky guy that's gonna capture the hearts of a nation with these speeches.
Yeah, no, he puts the ribbon, he puts the bow on the present, you know what I mean? He makes everything look good. He's gonna look at your candidates, he's gonna give them a makeover, he's gonna have them be the best version of themselves. I think this is a great pick. I will say, I think you would get jealous of the power. I think he would want to be the president, but I think it's a great pick. I think they're gonna look pretty, they're gonna sound great.
Yeah.
There you go. That's all you need from a campaign manager. Now, wild card. Wild
card can bring anything to a campaign. You can be the guy
this is the flex guy.
This is the guy. You can put him in any position. He can plan the rallies. He can help write the speeches. He can help. He can be the Secretary of State, whatever the hell you want.
Yeah, I'm hoping this is gonna be NBA player. It could be Draymond Green. So I just need someone who can do it all, but isn't gonna get in the way. Because right now we got Robert Pattinson and AT&T girl and being managed by Frozone. I don't want to mess with that too much. I just want someone who sprinkle in that the extra little gusto that we need. Any NFL starting quarterback.
Would have been pretty to have Tom Brady as the face of an election.
Now, wild card. So this is this guy could be doing endorsements. He could be the guys in the campaign video that is putting. So this can be a huge thing. And I'm looking at my choices here. Any NFL starter. Now you're gonna question this pick. And this is actually only valid as of this week. I'm picking Nick Foles. You know why?
Because Nick.
Those are 3 reasons, but my big reason, even bigger than Nick, is that I'm pretty confident we can get to the point of being in contention. I'm pretty confident that we're going to get to the place where we have a really great shot. But I need that guy to put us over the edge.
Someone that's got the magic factor.
I need the guy who's going to have the magic on his side, who when you're in that moment, when it's all on the line, when it's November 2nd, when it's the debates, when it's those big moments, I need this guy to come up big. Who's bigger than Nick? Huh?
Nobody's bigger than
Nobody's bigger than Nick.
He's gonna drop some Philly special that's gonna turn the tide of this campaign.
It's gonna be amazing, and I think you combine his quarterback mind with Frozone's mind, and we're gonna run off some sick, campaign videos, some kind of crazy plans. And combine that with the two people that are kind of at the helm. The people that you'll see on Instagram with ads. AT&T Girl, Robert Pattinson, brought to you by Frozone, finished with Nick Foles. We're winning this election.
All right. Campaign manager for my guys, Meyers, the wild card for my guys, Meyers and Hyde. Campaign manager, already been done. Any sports movies villain. The bad guy in any sports movie is my wild card. Let me rack my brain real quick. I remember.
Mighty Ducks. Yeah.
I'm thinking about like the Karate Kid.
Yeah, Karate Kid.
Some more sports movies. Who are the bad guys in sports movies? Ooh. You know who it's gonna be?
Yeah.
Mr. T from Rocky 3. Mr. Teabag, yeah. He's gonna come out there throwing punches. I pity the fool that doesn't vote for Seth Meyers.
He's a great wild card.
I pity the fool that doesn't vote for Seth Meyers and Stephen Hyde.
It's a good one.
He talked Rocky into that fight. Rocky didn't want to fight him. He showed up there and he just challenged him. He's the guy I have on Twitter that's making all these hot takes. That's going to be making all these controversies. He's going to
get people talking.
Mr. T is going to spread the fake news for me. He's going to be the one that rigs this election for me when he's just doing all the talking, doing all the trash talking.
No, 100%. And I think when the election isn't looking good, that's when Mr. T comes on for the greatest motivational speech to bring it all back. Like he's the guy who's gonna galvanize the group, and that's from a wild card standpoint. That's really all you need in this presidential setting.
All right, so let's picture the 2020-2024 ticket, whatever the ticket is. On one side, you've got President Seth Meyers, Vice President Stephen Hyde. Other side, you've got
President Pattinson,
which rolls off the Edward Cullen, and AT&T Girl. Campaign managers, Frozone versus Schmidt, Battle of the Minds, and our wild cards. I've got my guy. What did I just say?
You got your guy, Mr. T.
Mr. T.
He pities the fool that forgets that he literally picked him. But yeah, I'm liking my team, and I think it's because I'm gonna get the young people to vote, and if every liberal in this country voted, then every liberal candidate would win. So the way that I'm running, I'm feeling really good about galvanizing all the possible votes together. That aside, I got such a great line in Frozone. This guy saved the world a million times. If you can keep Mr. Incredible grounded, you can keep Robert Pattinson, the AT&T Girl grounded, and we're gonna have a great plan going into this. On top of all of that, I think I got a great wild card. I think I got someone who has the magic in the palm of his hands that can leash it at any point. When it comes to that last, from Super Tuesday on, Big Dick Nick is gonna come in, full effect. I don't know. I don't see a way that I lose.
I do see a way that you lose. I see that I'm getting back at you because whoever watched the zombie apocalypse out of a hat knows that I got screwed on the last question. My wild card had to be a recurring commercial character, and it basically sunk my team any chance I had. So I had to throw it back at James. The AT&T Girl is your vice president.
It's a great vice president.
Purely off looks.
It's a great vice president.
Purely off looks.
That's not true at all. I explained that's true for you and your perception of her, but for me.
Oh, you know her as a person. You really know her intelligence.
She conveys the cold, hard facts, and she cares about if you care about the customer is the people, and she has the people in mind.
Okay, well, you know what I have on my team, which I haven't talked about much. I've been saving it. I have Seth Meyers. Seth Meyers is a political mind, charismatic, funny. He spoke at the White House press conference dinner when Obama was president. He's a funny guy. He knows the issues. He can out-debate anyone in the room. And Vice President Stephen Hyde, he's a radical. The young voters love that. He's going to be implementing all these changes. No one fights the establishment like Stephen Hyde. The Meyers-Hyde ticket is going to outmatch the Cullen AT&T Girl ticket.
Here's my point. A house divided against itself will not stand. Hyde and Seth Meyers, it's going to be this. It's going to be butting heads. They're not going to agree.
They both definitely lean left.
No, but they're going to be butting heads in the way that they want to do things. One's radical, one's reasonable. I don't know if it's going to work out. Plus, a guy who's good at debates, a guy who's politically know-how. So what? You got the SNL Ben Shapiro. Good for you. I got real people. I got a good basis, a good base in I think Frozone is honestly what puts me over. I think Frozone is the guy how you not
I think Frozone is the only piece of this that makes a little bit of sense. He's not Frozone. Wasn't regarded as a genius mastermind. He's just a cool guy. I think that's what you have. I have Schmidt, who is a tinkerer. He's meticulous, and he's running the campaign for, again, Seth Meyers, one of the most likable people in the world, and Stephen Hyde, who people are going to believe in to make change.
So I think this is our closest matchup. Yeah, I think the teams that we drafted. I'm feeling pretty confident in my team, but I do think it's a toss-up.
I don't think it's a toss-up. I think that the people are going to show that I really ran away with this. I don't think it's close. Seth Meyers for president. It needs to happen in the show, in real life. We need you to vote.
You need to let us know, actually. Like, you really do need to vote and tell us, like, are you gonna let these two win? Are you gonna let these two white guys win?
This is what America needs, people.
Oh my god.
This is what America needs.
This is America's had. Anyways, let us know. We're gonna have a poll, and so this will be mentioned next show.
Hell yeah. Go out and vote for us, and then go out and vote in the real election. This one's a little more important, but we need you to vote. Thank you so much for watching another episode of Double Take. The support that we get from you guys, it means so much. We really, really appreciate it.
Like, subscribe, tell your friends, and if there's anything at all that you want us to talk about, let us know in the comments.
Keep being your awesome, amazing selves, and always keep in mind the immortal words of Shrek.
End of story. Bye-bye. See you later.